This month in SSW Tech news, OpenAI's GPT-5 has been received with mixed enthusiasm. Google's Genie 3 is visualizing the world like we've never seen before. And there's finally a much-needed conversation happening between education and AI. All that and more. I'm Cogan. Let's get into it. Starting with the latest and greatest AI model. GPT-5 is smarter but less loved. On August 7th, GPT-5 replaced legacy models and 4.0 in ChatGPT. Now, it's being sold as our smartest, fastest, and most useful model yet, but I think there's some contention around most useful. Let's have a look. The main point of change is that it is now one unified system. What this means is there's a couple subsystems, and depending on your prompt, a different algorithm will be answering your question. Now, people are having mixed experiences with this product, and that's creating some tension. Overall, they are saying it is smarter, it's better at coding. We are also seeing that it's better at creative expression and writing and health. Importantly, it was having some issues in the past with hallucinating. And when you're giving some AI your symptoms, you really don't want it to be hallucinating. So that's definitely cleared up now. And we can see that those stats are verified here below in the data. There's been mixed reactions online, and I really like this image that's been used to visualize it. Here we have CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, as Noah with his ark full of animals or ChatGPT models. And here we see GPT-5 is really a Frankenstein of all the different animals, and people definitely were feeling this with the unified approach. They were also having some problems with the warmth of the model. They're saying it was a bit cold. Now, to be fair to OpenAI, they have warmed up the model, as they say. They've also given back the legacy models, which people were complaining to have missed. Like some people were saying they felt like they missed an old friend, in a way a particular friend would communicate with them. So they've brought these models back, and they have also increased rate limits, which was another point of contention. Other people are being a little less critical, and they're just saying you actually need to click your brain into gear and get back into quality prompt engineering. And when you're prompting it correctly, GPT-5 is in fact the most powerful model that it is showing itself on the stats to be. Azure AI Foundry now runs with GPT-5, so Microsoft wasted no time. GPT-5 is already live in Azure AI Foundry. That means that businesses can instantly build and deploy AI apps, and this is customer service bots to analytical tools within Azure's ecosystem. And they're actually having the whole suite of GPT-5 available. So this whole unified system, this whole Frankenstein is available to you from Mini to Nano and Chat. In a bit more Microsoft news, Microsoft has acquired GitHub. Now, I know that we all know that this happened in 2018, but there's a shift. It's becoming a bit more official, a little bit more amalgamated. What's happened is the CEO of GitHub has resigned. Now, that team, they did used to report to their CEO directly, but now Microsoft isn't replacing the CEO position, and the rest of GitHub's leadership team will report directly to the Microsoft Core AI team. Now, online, there's conversations on Reddit is happening. People are already hypothesizing about what the next name of GitHub will be. Some people are saying Microsoft GitHub 365. Other people are saying Copilot Hub. There's also some concern, of course. People are wondering, they're saying Microsoft embraced GitHub and they extended it with new features. Are they going to extinguish it with AI? There's a lot of different conversation, a lot of different response to it. I think that people are definitely sure that this is going to mean faster product cycles and a more seamless Copilot-driven coding experience. But this was once an open, community-driven platform. Will it lose that feel? Will it still have that community feeling that it used to have? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Now, shifting from code into the real world. Kind of the real world. Google has reached a frontier for world models with Genie 3. So what is Genie 3? Well, given a text prompt, Genie 3 can generate dynamic worlds, kind of like in a video game-esque style, that you can navigate in real time using these buttons over here at pretty good quality resolution. So we've got 24 frames per second and 720p. I really like the way that YouTuber Fireship has visualized it. So let's have a little look at the graphics that he's given us.
As a kid, I had two favorite movies, Terminator 2 Judgment Day and that one where Sinbad played a genie. Well, yesterday, Google DeepMind released a new AI model that's like if those two movies had a baby. It's named Genie 3 and has the ability to create controllable virtual worlds from a text prompt and simulate them in real time at 720p resolution and 24 frames per second. And we're not just talking about video rendering here, but worlds with actual physical properties that you can interact with like an open world video game. Genie is an AI system that understands reality well enough to simulate it. Think of it like the inverse of perception. Instead of understanding what it sees, it generates what could be seen if it had eyeballs like us. And that's a big deal because it gives autonomous systems and robots an unlimited number of simulated environments for training.
This technology is often easiest to understand when you understand the application, and it's going to be game-changing for training robotics because Genie 3 has created endless worlds that these robots can navigate and explore and get exponentially better at. Another interesting or slightly creepy thing about Genie 3 is that if we go back to just the start of the video, we can see here a massive difference between Genie 2 and Genie 3. How did Google do this? Well, they really didn't do anything. It's what's called an emergent quality. As the program was exploring itself, exploring new prompts, it just got better and better and taught itself. And it has just developed a much better, much more powerful frame rate, going from lower resolution, less frames per second, to quite a powerful thing lasting for several minutes at a time. So is this terrifying? Is it AI being amazing? You can be the judge of that. All right, moving from the West to China, where Alibaba's Qwen 3 coder is challenging the dominance of Claude Sonnet 4, 4.1 right now. So this is a very powerful and light model. We can see the stats over here. It's also been very comprehensively trained. And we can see that its market share is absolutely taking off. Let's have a look at the stats here on the South China Morning Post. We can see on Open Router, it now has 20% of the market, and that's trailing only one Amazon-backed Anthropic's Claude Sonnet 4, which has 31% of the market share. Now, if you know anything about the pricing of these models, it looks like Qwen 3 is a much more cost-effective model, so a very strong and cost-effective competitor coming out of China. All right, let's finish up with a question affecting the generations born into the AI boom. And that is, can education embrace AI? Well, OpenAI and Google would like to think so. OpenAI has released Study Mode. How does it differ from the normal chatbot? Well, it's a learning experience that helps you work through problems step by step rather than getting straight to an answer. Let's have a look at this little visual here. So we can see here, if you put it into Learn and Study mode and you ask a question, give it a homework question, take a photo of that homework, it's going to start with a walkthrough rather than a direct answer, giving you the key facts, giving you some formulas, and then actually making you ask follow-up questions to engage in that learning experience. Now, before I went to work, I was a tutor during high school and the early days of university, and I didn't tutor during a time when GPT was popular and AI in general was popular, and I was very worried. And I'm very glad to see that these kids who have jumped definitely headfirst into this technology and now being given an option to think for themselves. Google's also got a similar tool happening with the less spunky name of guided learning. Basically, let's have a look over here. When you're in that guided learning section, you give it a homework problem, it's breaking it down. It's just good to see this trend happening, and it's definitely entering the discourse. Here in Australia, our public broadcaster is jumping on the conversation as well. I really like the phrasing that the genie is not going back in the bottle. So teachers are having to get involved, students are having to get involved as well. What have we got here in Australia? We have the Australian Framework for Generative AI in Schools. It's released by the federal government in 2023. There are moves to review it annually. Now, anyone who looks at this AI space closely probably knows that annually might not be enough, but it's good to see that we're starting to put the wheels in motion to really review the relationship between education and AI. If you have any thoughts on this budding topic, please let us know down in the comments. That's all for SSW Tech News this month. If you think we missed any key stories, let us know down below in the comments. Stick around for this month's SSW user group. We have our very own Anton Polkanov with his user group, MCP, ensuring our tools are ready for the robot overlords. Over to you, Anton.